Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 190, and we are talking right now with Nick Kalikas, guy who consults for numerous high-profile sports books and opens these odds, knows everything about how they move and how they get bet. And also joining us from MMAOddsBreaker.com as well, MMA analyst James Lynch, Soa Palelei, and Antonio Silva. Now, right now Paleilei is minus 170, Silva plus 150. I don't know, man. Paleilei is 2 years older, but Paleilei's got some momentum, and Silva looks absolutely cooked. He looks done. To me, Paleilei at minus 170 looks like easy money. Am I wrong, James Lynch?
No, I completely agree. I was actually surprised the line was this low because, like you just mentioned there, Peter, Silva has looked absolutely horrendous in his last two fights. Whether it's him being off the TRT, whether it's the fact that he went through that 5-round war with Mark Hunt, it's hard to say, but he is definitely not the same fighter that was defeating Fedor Emelianenko a couple of years ago in Strikeforce. So it's definitely a fate situation in this case, more than I think giving Paleilei that much credit. You mentioned the age. I mean, that is a bit of concern for Paleilei. He is 38. At some point, he is going to have to slow down a bit. But I just look at the fact that his only loss in the UFC is to Jared Rosholt, and that was basically Jared Rosholt out wrestling Soa Palelei for 3 rounds. And we're not going to see that from Antonio Bigfoot Silva. He's a guy who likes to, land big punches. He likes to get the fight to the ground. I just don't see him have a good game plan for Paleilei, and I love Paleilei here, and I'm very curious to see how this one unfolds, but I do think Paleilei could finish Bigfoot Silva just because I really think he has faded that much.
Yeah, and it seems obvious to me that that's the way the public would see this. Nick Kalikas, where'd you open this line, and do you expect the public to completely fade Silva in light of how brutally he's gotten beat down in his most recent fights?
You know what? Another tricky line to set, honestly, because of where they're at. It's amazing to me if you take out how Silva's looked recently and throw it out the window. Soa being favored over Bigfoot, just surprising alone. But that being said, it's right, and I agree with you guys as well. I opened at minus 230 for Soa, so it got bet down.
Wow.
And that's
betting that,
that's
the public?
It was public action betting down, which, again, it's just surprising if you see that line because, overall throughout his career, Soa has just not been that respected by the casual MMA fans, by the betting community. He's not a very marketable fighter, but at the same time, he's really improved in those areas. He's been working hard, a lot more respect, definitely, since his return to the UFC and how he's looked as of late on this run. He's been putting in the work, and he's gotten better. I mean, the guy is definitely dangerous, so you got to respect him. And I think he's gaining fans all the time. I mean, he's on social media, so he's becoming more popular. He's actually, right now, I think, one of the better heavyweights the UFC has as far as marketability goes, as far as actually talent, because let's face it, from top to bottom, the UFC heavyweight division is still a little bit weak. So I think Soa's right in the mix with things, man, and this is a good matchup for him, and the UFC sees it as well. The guy's very strong, and again, with all his improvements, before I would question his chin, I would question his cardio, and just his desire to win. But he's really turned things around. Like I said, his cardio's looking better. He does have that drive to win now. He's not a quitter. His chin even has really improved, I think, because of all that stuff, because of the hard work and the confidence, everything going for him. And then Silva has just been total opposite. Yeah, it's been pretty bad. I'm shocked still to this day that Hunt and Silva went the 5-round distance in that fight that he had not too long ago. It's amazing. Who would have thought that fight would go with, the chin aspect, how hard Hunt hits. But Silva somehow, some way made it through. I know a lot of people say the roids impacted that fight a little bit. Now he's not able to take the peds. He's off that. So that's kind of, I think a lot of people assume that that's why Bigfoot's looking as bad as he is, because he can't be taking peds and whatnot anymore. And plus, to go along with that suspect chin that he's always had throughout his career, I think you are seeing a big impact here. And I don't know if that's the case. We're not sure exactly. We can't really say what's impacted him, but he does seem like he's on a decline. Hard to trust him. And, man, with the way Soa just has those big, huge meat hooks. I mean, it doesn't take much for him to land those to knock him out. So I think, combining with that big target on Silva's shoulders there, I think he probably does land a shot and knock him out.
So do you expect the books to actually wind up needing Soa in this one?
It'll be probably pretty close because, again, if you look at his resume, who Silva's beat and what he's accomplished, and, again, earning that title shot in the UFC already, I think a lot of people are going to think, hey, everybody's counting him out, and maybe he still has something left in the tank. So we're going to see some action coming in on Bigfoot. I mean, early on, you've seen, like I said, the line dropped a little bit. Now, actually, you quoted that 170 line. Looking at 5'9", it's actually back up to 200. So I think we're going to see some two-way action, steady action on this fight either way. A lot of people are probably still not going to be sold on Soa either.
Right.
You know, so I think that's why you're going to see a little bit more two-way action. But it is Soa's fight to win or lose. I think the toughness that he's displayed recently to go along with that knockout power is just a bad formula right now for Silva.
And let's go back to James Lynch. You know, the under is a big favorite. Not surprised there. Under 1.5 rounds is minus 170. Do you think that might have some value as well, James?
Absolutely, yeah, I do. And I'd also be looking at the Paleilei by knockout prop if that's available, anytime soon. It's something I think that can definitely happen. You know, again, this is one of those situations where I think you have to look at the fading fighter and you have to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I think Paleilei, there's lots of different ways for him to win this fight, but I think knockout is definitely a real possibility.
I'm in complete agreement. Hopefully we're all right. Be pretty embarrassing if we're not, but I have to say I agree with you. Thanks so much, James and Nick.